All right, guys, welcome back to 3M on a Wednesday, hosted by the Cary Bengals Fantasy Football League. We have TJ and Ankit in here. We just finished our semifinal rounds, and let's get right into it. Let me share screen. All right, we'll first start with our village bracket, our losers bracket. So in our first round, we had Alvin versus TJ, and surprisingly, our highest scoring matchup of the week. I think it was projected the lowest scoring matchup, but as you guys can see. Alvin went insane. Joe Burrow, Chris Olave, Juwan Johnson having a good game, Texans D, and then Fairbairn and TJ. His team, like he didn't really have a chance, going into Monday night, but Brock Purdy ended up having just saving his score really, 30 points. Derrick Henry had a good game. Jalen Warren had those two long touchdowns. Jason, great game. DK having, a decent game, 13 points, and then McPherson running up with 10 points. So Alvin, he's in last place, and he has to win this bracket in order to avoid the punishment. And this is the first time since we started introducing the punishment to our league that the last place has been in the finals. I think this has been the first time since they won a game in this bracket, but he's won two, and now he's in the finals. And he's going to play Sam, who is our losers bracket favorite. Sam having another good week, 139 to 127. Another high scoring matchup. Looking at Sam's team, Sam had good performances from James Cook, Zay Flowers, George Kittle, ETN and Butker. And then looking at Ravont, Matthew Stafford had a huge day. A.J. Brown had a good day. And Diggs had a great day. So Sam is going to be playing Alvin. We'll get into that later, but that's certainly a matchup that everyone's going to see. Next we have Code Monkey Ankit. He beats a Moog in our actual semifinal, in our first semifinal. This game was, it was all over the place. We'll let Ankit speak, but we started off with Puka and then, great Saturday for Ankit and then yeah.
I mean, uh, yeah, I was at one of our own Bucks games. We were busy losing to the Raptors on Thursday. But yeah, I come back. Puka's fucking killing me. My wide receiver too, Jason Myers, was having a bad day too. So, I was a bit depressed, but I was like, you know what? 25, 30 points, we can survive that. And then the most Mickey Mouse shit just starts to happen. This game should have been over. Puka shouldn't have been getting the ball at all. And then the Seahawks just start making shit, and then we get overtime. Then in overtime, Puka just goes crazy on their first drive, their one and only drive, ending with a 41-yard touchdown. And I was crashing out in my apartment. I was crashing out in group chats. I was texting shorties, crashing out. I was like, man, Puka ruining my day. They don't give a damn. But I was in the dumps for a little bit, but recomposed myself and I said, you know what, I'm the number one overall seed. We can take a punch, so we're gonna be okay. Fast forward to Saturday. I'm in live attendance as the Packers play the Chicago Bears. DJ Moore's having a stinker, but on the bright side, the Packers were going to win the game. And then shit happens. My day gets ruined. My every extremity of mine was frozen. But the saving grace was that DJ Moore is the one that killed me. So at least I got fantasy points out of it. But I'd prefer honestly that it didn't happen. Because that was a miserable day, and I'm still depressed about it. Might never go to another Packers game again. Uh, yeah, Josh Jacobs. Kind of knew it wasn't going to be a good day for him just because he was hurt. Wasn't playing healthy. Then he fumbled and he got benched. So, uh, that did me a favor as well. And then yeah, going to Sunday. I was feeling good about the team. Uh, Darius Slayton wasn't worried about him. Jake Ferguson wasn't worried about him. And uh, Bo Nix wasn't worried about him either. So it was more about just my team performing. Saints got the job done. Jackson Dart fucking sucked. So fuck you, Rishi. Your team sucks. But we were able to stay afloat. And then the afternoon happens. Kyle Pitts so glorious. takes care of business and puts me in a winning position going into Monday night. And the guys that I've relied on all year, my stars, the reason I'm in the position I'm in, they got it done. So here I am, first playoff win, into championship weekend. It's exciting stuff, man.
Yeah, and I want to talk about this game in extent. This game's like I said it last week. This game all started on Wednesday morning when Amogs approach to this game was not what I wanted to see from him. Not picking up a tight end. I know it didn't make a difference, but it's the approach that's there. Not picking up a tight end to play in front of Ferguson. Not picking up a flex to play in front of Slayton. And of course, one of the flexes was DJ Moore. DJ Moore ended up winning Ankit the matchup because DJ Moore should have been picked up by a Moog. They both needed a wide receiver to start, and Ankit picked him up, and not even in the morning, close to noon, afternoon, he picked him up. So there was a lot of time where Amog, you're playing the number one seed in like in our league. You're already down 15 points projected. I felt like you needed a way better approach. And even if you didn't pick up DJ Moore, you picked up someone like Michael Carter, I would have been happy with that. At least I saw you like you're not playing Darius Slay in a terrible matchup against Minnesota. And you're actually trying to win this matchup. But I know like I'm gonna be a little bit hard on you because I know you're a great fantasy football player. Like you won multiple times in this league.
The
You
reigning
know the
champ.
game. Yeah, he won a championship last year. So like I just didn't like your approach. And of course like I don't want to see Ankit in the finals. Like I don't want Ankit to be in the finals. So of course I was cheering for a Moog. And I just needed to see something more from you this week. And unfortunately we didn't get it. If you picked up DJ Moore, I know it's not like you're going to guarantee pick up DJ Moore. You picked him up, you would have won. And I know hindsight is 2020, but it's just unfortunate for him to go out like this.
Yeah, I'm happy about it though.
Yeah, yeah, of course. You should be happy. All right,
I'm
TJ.
just confused as to how Unkit told us like this 5 minute yap fest about this, and he just had to mention he was talking to shorties. Like why did he do that? I still can't even tell you. Like uh, I'm in shock to be honest with you. Like, and then he said he was depressed. He might never go to a Packers game again. I mean, like, dude, can he grow up? Like, what is he talking about? Ugh.
Dude, I'm 2-7 in Packers games I went to. How can I have a Cleveland Browns winning percentage for a franchise that, like, since I've been alive, probably has a 65% win rate?
Dude, I saw Bryce Young throw two pick sixes in the same game to the same dude. Okay, I, I've seen terrible football. You pack it up, move on, and go to the next game. What are you talking about? But anyways, in regards to the fantasy, yeah, I mean, I'm happy Unkit acknowledged that Jason Myers is his wide receiver too, and yeah, I think Rishi, like, you're right. The Ferguson thing, fair at tight end, but just in general, like, you want to see more activity if for a guy that's in the semifinals and you're kind of the underdog if you're a Moke here too. You want to see something. Don't get to, and it kind of goes to waste, which is unfortunate. Especially with like a Jackson Dark 0.2. This sold my bread. I had Unkit losing this game.
Oh, yeah, you owe me bread.
Yeah, I owe you $15. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's unfortunate, but now I guess we just move on to the next round. I just want to say at the time, as we're reporting, Rashi Rice is now on season-ending IR.
What the fuck does that have to do with any of us?
Yeah.
That just means that's the third player of mine that's gone to IR in the
Dude,
last
we
six
don't care
days.
about you suck. We don't care.
I literally
All
dropped more
right.
points than you this week. I'm not even saying that like I would have beat you, whatever. I just want you to know. I just want you to know that.
Dude,
All right.
we do not care.
Dude, I hope both of you lose, bro. I don't know
Okay,
how. I
looking
don't
at the
know
other
how.
matchup, me versus Joseph. I end up beating Joseph score 154 to 108. But I would say that, the score line doesn't tell the whole picture of this matchup. It started out with like the rug pull of the year, Kobe Parkinson. Vegas, they got me. They got me they got me in 4K. So hype about this guy. Everyone was so hype about this guy. And of course, only 4 points. Already, it wasn't the end of the world. Five down five. It was like even coming into it, and I was down five at the end of the world. But then Jalen Hurts, he had a huge first half. I was, hopeful that I was going to come back into this game, maybe even take the lead in projected points. But in the second half, they just ran the ball. It was kind of expected. But at the end of the day, it was only 10. I was only down 10 projected. I was, I think, at 43%. I still had, high hopes. looking at his team, I knew like Brees Hall wasn't going to do well. You know, Cortland Sutton, JMO, and Henderson have some bust potential. Same thing with Brock Bowers against the Texans has some bust potential. But he did have good matchups. So it wasn't like I was going to win. I knew like his team was good, and I thought Joseph coming into this game was the hottest team in the league. But fast forward to Sunday, 1 o'clock. Uh, I just had an insane slate. George Pickens, getting early receptions, then Mike Evans scoring a touchdown that, gave me the lead, and then a little bit of calm, and then George Pickens having that long touchdown I was super hyped about. And then, like at halftime of the 1 p.m. slates, I think it was like tied or me up by a couple of points. And then Chase Brown, he was at 1.5 going in the third quarter, having 30, practically all his points in the third quarter, three touchdowns. Just like I thought semifinal. I was going to the final, semifinal over. Chase Brown, he saved me. But then I just had, I think Joseph just had the best first half I've ever seen in a 4 p.m. slate. Jacoby Brissett scoring that lucky touchdown to Michael Wilson. Bijan Robinson having a 17-point drive. Um, Cortland Sutton having a great early game. Brock Bowers scoring that touchdown. And all of a sudden I was down, I think 12 points projected at 36%. I was at 75% going into the 4 p.m. games. But everything changed when Kenneth Gainville caught that real route ball from Aaron Rodgers, perfectly placed ball. When the catches of the year, of course, Anzalone doesn't touch him down. He gets up, scores a touchdown, and from then on, his team slowed down. My team, we picked it back up. Jahmyr Gibbs having a 20-point second, I think like a 15-point second half, 20-point performance. I think he had like 10 receptions, one touchdown. Um, Ken Gainwell having having a few more points, and I think it was just out of reach going into Sunday night, and then Henderson unfortunately having that concussion kind of, like I felt like Joseph deserved to score more points this matchup, but it wasn't meant to be, and then I'm now in the finals against Ankit, and all year, me and Ankit, we've been at it, even in the past. But it's nice to see that if you watch the podcast, me and Ankit are the only ones that are and TJ too. Like TJ's like I'll say 75%, but me and Ankit are the ones that 100% of the time we're on the podcast. So it's nice to see that at least. But of course, I don't want to play Ankit. But yeah,
Yeah, I wanted to play you bad so I can beat you the worst way possible.
You guys do a good job of making me not know who to root for because both of you actively tank your chances in front of me. Like I hate both of you. Um,
I think
I was hoping, I was hoping,
the league as a whole is rooting for Rishi. I can imagine.
I was hoping by the end of the pod I would have a decision, and it's looking like I'm really hoping for like somehow Joseph wins. I don't know how we're going to make that happen, but I'm down to let it.
I mean he lost to Brock Bowers, so it's not looking good so far.
That's fine.
Are you hoping that like a Dark Knight Rises moment happens where like they just bomb a field?
Oh yeah, dude, Damar Hamlin moment would be nuts right now
That's
too.
not what I said at all.
Oh
Yeah,
my goodness, bro, that's
You
crazy.
talked about a
That's
the
real life.
league
I
has
was
insane.
talking
still
about a
not
movie.
has still not
That's
rewarded me
insane.
for how I could have won that game if Stephon Diggs dropped 50 or 40, and I literally wasn't able to get any compensation for that. And I still think that I should be riding over it.
Wait, so you were in a league where that happened? So what? How did they end it?
What do you mean? I was in the finals of this league.
No, you won though.
No, I lost that year.
But you were down heaps, right?
I was down 40.
And you were thinking, okay, so you're saying Diggs was
I
going
should
to
I
score
should have
40.
gotten paid my ESPN projected probability payout. 8%, whatever the hell it was. She got 8% of the pool. Spar should have gotten 92.
You should have protested that harder, I felt like.
I'm just a good dude.
Man, shut the fuck up.
I,
You just
I I
didn't
mean
think about
that
it in
that
the
is
moment.
fair though. I mean, we would still probably give Sparta championship because we would go by, projections at that point.
That shit is Mickey Mouse. Strip his name.
I
Strip
mean,
his name of the title.
I'm down to strip his name and just have like no person on it. I
Yeah.
guess when I get the trophy, I'll take his name off. I guess.
What the hell?
This
Okay,
is what I'm
Rishi,
saying,
you are now
bro.
the favorite.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. Like,
Just know
all right.
whoever I'm rooting for, that's the kiss of death. Y'all lost.
All right. Let's go to let's let's review Joseph and Amog season before we get into our final matchups. So we'll start with Joseph. Joseph, his season was a little bit of a roller coaster. He had a great start. Then he had like that 5 game losing streak, 5 or 6 game losing streak. Had a lot of injuries, no Lamar, no Brock Bowers for a good amount of the season. Didn't really find a wide receiver until late. He traded for JMO late, that ended up being a smash hit. He actually picked up Jackson Dart. That was a great pickup by him. I think that he ended up winning a few games for him. And Cortland Sutton ended up coming in late, taking over the wide receiver one role in Denver. And let me look at his bench. Keenan Allen was like his wide receiver two all year. Ricky Pearsall was hurt all year. Um, but yeah, I felt like, last 3 years, he's been in the losers bracket. I know he was the champion of the losers bracket all 3 years, all of those 3 years. But he's finally back in the playoffs. This is something that he can build on for next year. I thought he had a really good season in terms of the way that he finished. Like he was the hottest team going into the semifinal. Things didn't really work out for him in that semifinal, but there's a lot of things that he could be proud of for sure.
Yeah, I think Joseph. I think this was one of his best managed seasons, just purely as a manager in season. I thought he did a good job with trades. Uh, put him in his. Without those trades, he's not in the position he's in to even be in the playoffs because his draft really just like, you know, not the greatest. So he put himself in a position to succeed. In the playoffs, it's tough. Shit happens. So I think it was a good season out of him.
Yeah, I mean, I think Joseph has always been somebody who, when he first came in this league, just started really well, but didn't make enough moves because he just kind of this is going to sound a little too negative, but rode on the coattails of a great draft, right? And like just didn't force himself to make moves. And obviously, it's fantasy football. There's unluckiness, but I think there were some criticisms there, and it's nice to see that. I think he's learned from every year that he's been in this league, and this year he did make the midseason trades that benefited him. And obviously, it was a tough team to work with. To be honest, he had a lot of inconsistency throughout, but he stuck with it, made the right moves, and wasn't able to get it done this year. But kudos to him.
All right. Let's go to Amog. Amog, he was our defending champ coming into the year. He lost in the semifinal. Um, I think he started like 5-0, lost 6 games, 6 out of 7 games going in to that stretch. He had some injuries, Puka missing some time. Jacobs was just banged up all year. I don't think he was out for I think he was out for like maybe 1 game, but
Yeah, just and I mean he had Emmanuel Wilson for that one game. He was out
yeah.
anyway, so
Yeah, and then Kamara ended up being, a total bust for him. Rome had a great start to the year and then, cooled off. Herbert was, a great, late round draft pick. Same with Ferguson. Ferguson was really good, to start the year. When CD came back, he kind of took a back step, sorry. Um, so yeah, another good season for Moog. I know 7-7, not the best record. Kind of mixed his way into semifinals playing Kirk. But he was competitive. He was there. And I felt like it's really if you make a semifinals, it's a good season. So yeah. Forgot to mention
yeah,
Trey McLaurin
you
too.
know, yeah, I think for a Moog, I think the biggest thing for him was, I wish he tried to trade. I don't think he was active enough in the market, especially a guy like Jake Ferguson. Like I feel like he had to have known that a lot of that was just due to CeeDee's injury and all that type of stuff. So, uh, I think it's a solid season out of him, but I would have liked to see him be more active. With some of the pieces he had. Maybe try to just offload Jacobs, with the injury concerns and all that type of stuff. But it's hindsight. But overall, I mean, semifinal finish isn't bad for him here.
Yeah, I think just ultimately, like I don't know. It's tough to say trade because like he would trade Josh Jacobs to get another running back, for example, things like that. But he just, I don't know. The team is just not very good, in my opinion. maybe the one of the quarterbacks, right, with Bo and Herbert, just tough start sit.
Yeah.
Ferguson, I mean, just he was tight end too at one point in the midseason, so it's just you have the ups and downs. Um, I don't. I think he could have retooled better throughout the sure on the waivers, but honestly, it was a tough year for waivers in general. I think the guys who popped out. It obviously there's luck in it, but it felt like there's a bit more luck than usual this year. Like I can't name a single waiver wire wide receiver that really popped besides Michael Wilson for like 3 weeks. I'm sure there's a bit more, but
Okay,
you
for
know,
4 weeks.
Wait, QJ, bro, QJ.
I mean, Unkit started QJ and then dropped. Like it's pretty tough for some of these things, but
I know, but he won me. He definitely helped me. He's the reason I beat Sparsh in week 3. So
yeah, yeah, no question. I mean, early season QJ, but Seahawks defense was nice for Moog, and he drafted decently. Somebody like Javante really fell and he stuck out. So
yeah, that
you
was
know,
that was a good drop pick for him for sure.
a valiant effort for the defending champion. Glad to see no repeats to show that the league's tough, but we move on.
Right. Let's go to our still life championship. Sorry, not still life, the village championship.
Yeah,
I don't
come
want
on.
to. Yeah, sorry, the village championship. Where are they?
Appreciate. I bought the tickets by the way. So
All right, you bought tickets to the village bracket championship. Thank you for that.
yes,
No.
yes, 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 yes.
Yeah. All right. So this is actually one of the biggest storylines in league history. Alvin, last place. He has to win to avoid punishment. And he is playing Sam, who's never won anything in this league. And it's a chance for Sam to really change the narrative on his name and, win a win a tournament, put himself, tell the league that, I didn't have the best year. I had like it's one of the most underachieving seasons ever, but at least I got something out of it. So looking at Alvin, bro, I was looking at these matchups. Alvin has insanely good matchups this week. Like insanely good matchups. H.N. against Tampa Bay, Genti against the Giants, Olave against Tennessee, Michael Wilson against Cincinnati, Jawan Johnson against Tennessee, Jaden Reed against Baltimore. I don't know if that's the greatest matchup, but yeah, like he is in a great
I no, go
sorry.
ahead. Sorry.
I'm saying he's in a great spot to win this. And the projections say so too. He's projected at 127. Um, Looking at Sam's team, Sam, Dak is also in the smash spot against Washington, but James Cook's matchup isn't the great. Bucky Irving's matchup is actually really good against Miami, but the way that they're using that backfield, you don't know what you're going to get from Bucky.
Even ETN against the
Amon
Colts.
Ra has dominated the Saints. I mean, sorry, has dominated Minnesota in the past. Like he has dominated he's kind of like Minnesota is a hard matchup, but the way that they're going to beat Minnesota is through Amon Ra. I think it's just more like a coverage thing. Zay Flowers, good. I think that's a decent matchup against Green Bay. I don't think Green Bay's secondary is the best. Etienne has a great match against Indianapolis, and Kittle, if he plays, that's a great matchup against Chicago. So I feel like this game could be high scoring. There could be some fireworks, could be some, boom performances. So yeah.
Yeah. At the end of the day, Alvin's a winner, and he finds ways to win. So I don't. And Sam is a loser. So therefore, Alvin's gonna win. That's
Yeah,
my
same.
that's my objective. Like take on this game. Like ain't much else to it.
I feel the same way. Like this is where you ignore the spread. You just go. You pick the winner. Like sure, Vegas has to give Sam here like 3.5 point or sorry, yeah, what is it? 3.5 point favorite, 3.8. Honestly, I love the dogs as 3.5 here. Alvin on the road here. I'm ready for him to go and just snatch his chain. So let's get it done, Alvin.
It's on a neutral site, but yeah. But no,
Oh
the game is played in Santa Clara. Uh, so yeah. So that is practically a home matchup for Alvin.
No, but as far as I'm concerned, this is in the village.
no, yeah,
So
oh yeah. This is in the village. Like they're selling tickets for this in the village.
This,
which is it's tough. It's tough for Alvin to go, cross country. That West Coast East Coast travel is
oh,
no
all right.
joke. We just gotta hope it's not a 1 p.m.
And
game because he's staring down the
It's
bottom
not
of the
a one.
barrel.
It's going to be a Christmas Day matchup.
Yeah, so
Thursday
thankfully it's
night.
Thursday night. We can work with that a little bit more. Hopefully Alvin got his guys on their sleep schedules, and yeah, let's get this done.
All right, yeah, I'll probably go with Alvin. I just love his matchups. Sam obviously has a really good team, but he does have a lot of bust potential, with like
And
Bucky
he's a
Irving, Zay
loser.
Flowers, and
what? about him, like if he had actually got the shit right, he'd be in the final right now. Like
Yeah,
he would have
he
beat
would
Kirk,
have.
he would
Yeah,
have beat me, he'd be in the final. It's disappointing out
but
of
yeah,
him. So
yeah, it's
disappointing.
very disappointing. But yeah, I'll go with Alvin. That means Ravant will get his dream punishment, running the marathon. So
Yeah,
yeah.
I was talking to Vermont yesterday. He was at my house and he was just like, "Yeah, I'm ready. I think I'll be good for it." So
Okay, yeah.
fuck,
So
man,
he's
fuck.
clear. Yeah. Uh, all right. Before we really review this matchup, I want to do a little special segment. I want TJ to ask us questions on why we're so good at fantasy football and what we did this year to put us in the final. So TJ, you can start by asking me questions.
Sorry,
I
this
think TJ
segment's
just flipped his
only.
pick on who he wants to win.
Sorry. This segment is only going to last 30 seconds because unfortunately we don't have enough content. But I'll ask you guys a different question, which is simply, how does it feel to be in the finals for your first time? Like what are you thinking about? Like Rishi, I know we talked about last week, like this idea of like, you can't take too many risks in the playoffs and things like that. So, you're finally in the championship, both of you. I know this is a place you guys have never been, so cherish
That's
it.
okay. First of
Um,
all, that's not true. I've been in the finals before. All
of
right.
this league.
Yeah, 2019,
God, no
2018,
one.
sorry.
Dude, did
TJ,
you, did you just
remember
say
All
something?
right, dude. We're
When
talking.
Did you
TJ
just say
traded?
something pre-COVID? Dude, that wasn't the real world then, okay?
I mean,
Anyways,
okay.
Talking about high school was in the league. That doesn't count.
yeah, dude, that's like the Bob Cousy days. That
Okay,
Uncle,
so I mean,
Unkith wasn't in the
okay.
league. But anyways, yeah, like how, sure, like, how does it feel one to be here and two, like how are you dealing with this week and the build up to, football starting tomorrow?
All right, I'll start. So honestly, like I'm super elated. When I ended up pulling off the win on Sunday night, I was just super happy. Sunday was a little bit of a stressful day. I know it was. I put in so much work in the off season and so much work during the season that, it's finally showing something. And, Sunday is win or go home. And thankfully my team won and they had such a great performance. So I am super elated. Monday, I ended up watching the game with Ankit and TJ, and Ankit was one. Ankit won. He was super elated. I don't like seeing Ankit happy, so I was sad. But then I got in the car, and I was like, and I played I played like Noah Khan or something. Like, why the fuck am I playing Noah Khan? I'm in the fucking fantasy football championships. I put in my SD kid, and I put that shit on 40 volume, and I was bumping that shit the whole way back. So obviously, I'm super happy to be in the finals. Uh, you know, I can't really have a better matchup. I'm not talking about like in fantasy football. I'm talking about like I'm playing Ankit. It's a chance for me to really, like just cement this rivalry and have something on him that he'll never have on me. So yeah, I'm super elated. This is what I've been working for all year, practically since I got eliminated last year. Uh, and like if y'all know me, you know how much I care about fantasy football. It's kind of unhealthy, but obviously like I'm just super happy that I'm here. So yeah. Wait, did I lose y'all?
No, I'm here. Unkith, do you want to? I
But
think
yeah,
Unkith.
yeah.
Okay.
But yeah. Let me. Yeah, there's some similar sentiments. It's what Rishi was saying, but for me, path is a little different. I came to this league, made the playoffs my first 2 years, had a bye in one of them as well. In the first year of the 16 playoffs, so felt like one of the players in this league, and then I followed up with two of the worst years this league. Um, back last place. It's really embarrassing. Using a shitty draft model that I thought was good. So for the I came into last year, you know, revamped draft model, made the playoffs, but obviously that wasn't enough. So I really spent the off season after getting eliminated last year, just really trying to tune what makes me the code monkey. Building a good draft model. Incorporating AI. That's the new stuff these days. To really account for everything. And then we came out, we had our draft. Felt good about my team. Other people weren't as bullish on it, but felt like as long as my guys were there to play, we'd be good. So yeah, puts me in a position where uh, I'm playing for a championship. Can't ask for anything more. I'm in three championships out of my four leagues, so it's been a good year for me. So Just excited, playing a guy like Rishi, it'll be fun. I'll have bragging rights on him for forever, really. You can't really ever say anything to me ever again once I beat him. So it'll be great. And I'm honestly worried about, how Rishi's going to be doing after it. The podcast after the championship, if we have one, maybe he won't want to have one just because of how depressed he is or just how embarrassed he is that he got bitched by me. But, it's good, man. I'm excited.
Can I say the profanity from Ankit is appalling and disgusting, and we need to be better about that.
Yeah, what I tell you is to grow up.
It's just this commissioner has
Wait,
lost more power.
grown up? No, grown-ups don't use profanity.
Yeah,
Uh,
bitch.
What?
Grown-ups really do use. My boss was using
I mean,
profanity.
okay, so grown-ups you don't use profanity in a public setting. Like not in a like when we're talking to a public, but when we're, in the workplace, it's a little different, of course. But when I don't see your boss when he's on a press conference using profanity.
Well, I've
Uh,
seen players in press conferences.
yeah, but they're not grown up yet.
Okay.
But yeah.
My bad.
All right. TJ, anything else?
No, I hope you both lose, and I still don't know who I want to win slash who I want to lose more. So I'll let the fans decide this one. I'm pretty miserable that I still have to talk to you guys about this stupid little thing. I haven't been, I haven't not made the playoffs in a while now, so I'm kind of disappointed. But shit, shit out of luck. That's really all I can say. And
Yeah, you stink.
good luck to y'all.
All right, all right.
Yeah.
With that, let's review the matchup. Our final matchup of the year. Starting off with me, I am the favorite. I know I'm the second place team, but in terms of ESPN projected total, I am the favorite. I feel like I should be the favorite. But looking at my team, Jalen Hurts at Buffalo, not the best matchup. Gibbs at Minnesota. He didn't have the greatest game against Minnesota. I expect that to change. I don't think Minnesota has the best rushing defense overall. Like if you just watch them play, Chase Brown would have smashed matchup against Arizona. They have a lot of injuries. They just allowed Bijan just to run all over them. Conceded a touchdown to even Algier as well. Mike Evans has a decent matchup against Miami. Miami just allowed a lot of points to T. Higgins. Pickens, another smash matchup against Washington. Washington can't guard a soul. Both their corners on IR. Tyler Warren, decent matchup against Jacksonville. They do a lot of points to tight ends, but he hasn't been playing well, obviously. Kent Gainwell, on paper, is not the best matchup, but Cleveland has been struggling against the run. And Kent Gainwell is kind of like this kind of, how do I say this? Someone give me a word for this. Um, but yeah, he just do it all back, can receive, can
Swiss Army knife.
there we go. He's a Swiss Army knife. He can receive. He can run. He's goal line. He also gets goal line touches. He also, he gets these weird, just weird plays overall as well. And then, Giants defense. I don't know if I'm going to start them, but I feel like with no Brock Bowers and with how good the Giants defense has been in fantasy recently, with how many sacks they're getting, they got a touchdown last week. I know they haven't been the best. I think they've been like the worst this year, but they've kind of turned a corner recently. So that might be a start. And then Cam Little, I end up replacing Chris Boswell with Cam Little. So I think that's a great play against a struggling Indianapolis defense. So yeah, I'll let Ankit review his team for this matchup, unless he doesn't want to. Ankit, all right, I think he's driving right now. All right, looking at Ankit's team, Jackson Dart, great matchup against Vegas. So we'll see if he does well. CMC. I think that's a great matchup with Chicago. I think Chicago, like, their defense is kind of weird. I think the way that they play as an overall team, it's kind of like Ben Johnson just doesn't want to give the ball to their opponent. Like he likes to run the ball a lot. So we'll have to see what he does. And then JT, tough matchup against Jacksonville. Juwan Jennings, great matchup against Chicago. DJ Moore, great matchup against San Fran. Kyle Pitts, I think that's a great match against Los Angeles. Tyrone Tracy, great matchup against Vegas. And then Saints defense had a great performance last week. I know Tennessee has been balling recently, so that's something to watch out for. And then Jason Myers is Jason Myers. So I think there's going to be a lot of points available. Like I think both teams they're in great spots to win this game. TJ, you still there?
Yep, I'm right here.
Okay, so yeah, obviously, I'm gonna pick myself. I think that going into Monday night, I think the score will be too much of a gap. I think let Ankit come in here first. Is he not coming?
I guess he's not. I don't know. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
looking at this, like I would say that it's tough. Indiana has a. It's interesting because if the Chargers beat the Texans, or sorry, if the Texans beat the Chargers, I believe they are going to be the Colts are going to be eliminated. And so, I mean, the Colts don't have their pick next year, so maybe it doesn't matter too much. But I'm kind of curious to see, like, how that affects JT. So, you have like many things like that to worry about. And I don't know, Devontae Adams is, going to be shut down for the rest of the regular season, it's looking like. And,
Yeah, that's
and
a
on
huge loss.
huh?
I said that's a huge loss for Ankit.
Yeah, exactly. And I think from my understanding, like, or my belief at least is I'm just not a very big DJ Moore guy on in this current offense and just like with the inconsistencies that have been happening. So I'm not very big on Unkit's team. I feel like I've been kind of a hater, and I have, and I've been wrong about it. But I genuinely have not been that bullish on this team at all. And so I just think the luck finally runs out, and we'll see. Like we'll see if anything changes. But I feel good if I'm Rishi here, and so I think he will
Yeah,
win. I don't know if I necessarily want that. No, I know I don't necessarily. I don't want that. Not to say I want Unkit to win either, but
Hey,
I.
sorry. My phone overheated. Don't be talking about the luck running out. There ain't no luck associated with this, okay?
Your team is okay, whatever. Anyway, go ahead. Just go ahead and say your bullshit, dude. I can't do with you guys.
Ah, man, you tilt so easily. It's funny, man.
I'm not even tilted. I just sometimes you got to let dumbasses speak and give
all
them a
right.
platform.
Okay, do you want to review your
That's why
team?
Turning Point USA is the thing. Like
Hey,
goddamn.
yo, don't stop it. All right, Ankit, do you want to review your team?
Yeah. Yeah, obviously the Devontae injury happening when it's happened is obviously really bad for us. Having to go like having to play in the playoffs without one of our best players. But we move. I don't necessarily know if DJ Moore is going to be in the starting lineup or not come Sunday. That's there's going to be a lot of game time decisions made regarding that. But yeah, I like my matchups aside from Jonathan Taylor. Jacksonville's not a good matchup for running backs, so I worry about that. I think he'll definitely go under his projection there. So I think I have a lot of ground to make up. Uh, what I decide to do on Sunday is honestly going to be determined a lot by how Reese's two studs kind of perform to start on Thursday. Um, but hoping I think it'll be a good bounce back game for Jackson Dart. I think he'll do better than his projection as well as Tyrone Tracy. The names aren't sexy, but they can get it done for us. So we'll see. Uh, I'm optimistic. I think Jawan Jennings will have another good game as well. So we'll see. Uh, yeah. Hopefully, I'm a little worried about Tennessee's offense has been playing a lot better as of late. I'm hoping the Saints look pretty good. So keep going.
Yeah. If you guys couldn't hear that, he just said that Tennessee's offense has been a lot better recently. Um, so, going a little bit more in depth in this matchup, you know, what I'm going to be watching out for on August team is obviously the San Fran versus Chicago game. He could have three players playing that, and it has shootout potential, and the defenses aren't the best. Like what I'm hoping for is just, a Ben Johnson masterclass where Ben Johnson just runs all over a depleted San Fran defense, controls the time of possession, limiting the amount of points for CMC and Juwan Jennings. Um, Obviously, what Ankit is hoping for is just the overall shootout. What he got last week against, San Fran against Indianapolis, basically a Kyle Shanahan masterclass where points are scored on the board. That could be, it's on prime time. Players perform better on prime time. Uh, looking at my match like my lineup, obviously what I'm looking out for is tomorrow on we're recording this on Wednesday. Tomorrow on Christmas Day, where I have Jameer Gibbs playing at 4 o'clock and Pickens playing at 1 o'clock. Just they both have. I know Gibbs doesn't have the best matchup, but I feel like Gibbs can get in the end zone once or twice, especially with them going to dominate time of possession against a really bad quarterback with Max Brosmer. And I know Pickens, I know Dak Prescott wants that, scoring that passing yard title, first Cowboys quarterback to ever get it if he gets it. So I know George Pickens is going to be the guy because the Commanders play a lot of single high, and George Pickens is just single high merchant. Um, so I'm expecting a big game out of Pickens. I'm expecting Gibbs to get in the end zone at least once, and I want 40 points going into Sunday, at least 40. Anything more than that, I'll take, of course. But 40 is my goal, and if I can get 40, I know I'm gonna win this matchup. So yeah. Um, and obviously, like it is, I feel like it is my matchup to lose. Like if you look at just the overall lineups, I just feel like I have just better players than Ankit right now. I know Ankit has the two best players in fantasy football all year, but JT, hasn't been the best recently, and CMC is still CMC. But I feel like just my matchup to lose, and I hope I get it done. So yeah.
I think this matchup, obviously I wish I had Devontae Adams, 'cause that's the reason I'm in my tricky wide receiver two spot here. But I think this matchup is going to come down to Monday night with Kyle Pitts. I really think it's going to come down to the very end. So we'll see.
Yeah, I think it will. I think the score will be too much to even watch that game.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah.
No, that's cool. No.
All right. Yeah, let
I
us
mean,
know like who you guys got, last weekend. We will have a podcast no matter what. It'll be our next week, it'll be our last podcast of the season. We'll discuss more if we want to continue, if we want to do dynasty content or just let us know about that. But we will have one more podcast. This is not the last podcast of the season. Even if I lose, even if Ankit loses, we'll still both be on. Hopefully Ankit will be on. I'll be on for sure. So yeah. Um, Final segment, we'll go into our picks. I didn't have the best picks last week. I'm sorry, guys. I went 0 for 3, but I think some others did. I think TJ did. I don't really remember. I think you had Carolina,
I
and I
had
think you had.
Carolina Cowboys, but I had one more. I don't remember what it was. The Cowboys did sell me. It's all right, fellas. It is my first loss of the year. Unfortunately, I don't have a lock for you guys as I usually do in these. The slates are a little tough, so I'm just gonna go with the one that's in front of my face, and I'm taking Miami plus 5.5. One of the things that people like to think is Tampa Bay's a must-win game and Miami's eliminated, so these teams don't play. But teams that are eliminated versus teams that are vying to make the playoffs actually cover at about a 75% rate since I want to say 65% rate since around 2005. And the Bucks are 1-7 in their last eight. I don't think they're a very good football team. I'm kind of a McDaniels guy. We'll see how it actually is with viewers, but I just want to take what I see in front of me. Not a bad team versus a pretty bad team. 5.5 points is a lot. Give me the Dolphins.
All right, I'll give you got anything.
Uh, Tough one. I'm I'm going with Atlanta money line Monday night just
Oh
because
wow.
Raheem Morris job on the line. This guy's going to pull some shit out and just make shit happen. That I have no other basis to other than just the vibes on it.
And remember,
All right.
a win for LA serves as double benefit because they have their first round pick.
Yeah, so it's added for Atlanta that they really just don't want to have their pick be any worse. So
All right. Just looking at it, I haven't really reviewed this a lot. I like the Bears. Like I don't know why the Bear like
the
I just
Bears
feel
are
like a Ben Johnson
the Bears
masterclass.
they're not a good football team.
I know they're not like I know like a lot of their shit is fluky, but I also don't think the 49ers are really that good either. Like I just think
I
like
think to beat the Niners, you have to be able to put up points because that defense is a little vulnerable. And so I know the Bears can do it, but it's very inconsistent. I
Like
they I
you
think
gotta you gotta sorry,
yeah.
you gotta control time of possession. I think that's the main. I think
And they can run the football,
and
but
that's what the Bears do against like teams that they're outmatched by. They did it against the Eagles and they beat the Eagles that way. They did it against the Packers.
No,
Um,
no, we do that. They 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 want.
let's keep in mind that the Packers didn't punt a single time against the Bears. That was one of the more lopsided games that you've seen.
no,
Dude,
I'm talking about the first matchup. I think the first matchup it was
It's pretty good, but they somehow Packers covered 6.5 because I mean they
yeah.
were driving at the end, but yeah.
Okay, I might be wrong there, but I'm looking at that like the way that the Bears controlled the time possession against the Eagles, and they kind of like gave a wake up call to the Eagles that game. But I'm not totally locked onto that. I would say like looking at it, I like the Jags to cover. I think the Jags are one of the best teams in football right now. I just think the Colts are just lost as a team. They have so many injuries on their defense. Um, looking but this total is insane. I think it moved from 33.5 to 34.5, the Steelers Browns total. Uh, but yeah, I also like I like Green Bay this weekend on Saturday.
yeah, we don't know what the status is with Lamar Jackson yet. So
Yeah,
I think it might snow too. Not sure. Uh, it'll be interesting. We don't even know if Jordan Love is playing either. So
yeah.
Yeah,
And
Lafleur's been bothering me recently. You know, he should have beat the Bears. Is very disappointed in that. You know, him as
I
a
mean,
dog is kind of my guy.
I don't think that's at the end of the day. You catch the onside, the game is over.
No, I'm not blaming him, but I'm saying as the he used to be like, you know, when he's a dog, he's good. Like he's not good in the spot. The Packers are not winning in the spots they typically would have won in. So it's kind of tough for me to go with my like betting favorites. The game that I'm fascinated with really is that Texans Chargers game. And to me, I think the Texans, I mean, this is a rematch of the playoff wild card from last year where the Texans beat up on the Chargers, even though the Texans are kind of banged up. You know, Justin Herbert's 3-0 with a broken hand. Honestly, an underrated guy for MVP with the team that he's dealing with, the way he's playing. But you give him a good defense like the Texans, who people were kind of maybe letting the gas up on after a kind of close game or close week with Atlanta, or sorry, not Atlanta, Oakland, the Vegas
Las
here.
Vegas. Yeah.
Um, I think the Texans could dog them. I mean, it could be ugly. But we, you know, there's a lot of good football to be played this week, and so I'm excited. So that you know, the Texans are also a shout for me. The Panthers, as more than giving them a touchdown at home, feels. I know it's Seattle, feels like a lot, but I'm staying away. And I mean, I think there's a really interesting angle somebody could take on Eagles Bills. I personally think both teams are not very good, so I'm staying away.
Yeah.
But let's see. You know, another one that I want to throw out there as a potential one to watch for is, man, the Tennessee Titans have been playing some all right football, and Tyler Shuck, he's good. I'm not hating. He's been the best rookie quarterback this year, and Kellen Moore's been good. But you know, wins like that the Titans had against the Chiefs yesterday are just big for building the culture. You know, these teams are not. That's what I love about football. These teams are not just trying to lose. So I'm excited for that to win. Less than three is a key number. It's a key decision by Vegas there. So that's interesting one to look out for as well.
Yeah, I think those are two pretty hot teams, offensively for sure. Coming in like maybe 39.5 is a pretty low total. I
But
thought
the Saints just also just have such an underrated defense. Under my goat, Brandon Staley.
yeah,
I will
I
die on
mean
that hill.
that is true.
Yeah,
But
Um,
no, if you guys want to watch some proper QB film, watch Tyler Shuck. Watch Tyler Shuck's film. He's been balling recently.
I'm
But yeah.
starting coming off the felt. So
Yeah, see, I'll watch his proper QB film. That's why he's in the championship. So yeah.
to be
Um,
honest, I feel like I said a month ago actually that Tyler Shuck, or 3 weeks ago, I said Tyler Shuck is coming. I believe I told you that
yeah,
recently
you did
about.
tell me that. Yeah. And
So
that's why TJ he's doing all right for himself somewhere. But yeah. Looking at I also like I want to go back to TJ's point about the Miami, the eliminated teams thing. Is that something to watch out for with the Lions and Vikings?
yes, that Viking seven's an interesting. And actually, I kind of wanted to press on a point you brought up earlier, Richie, that Max Brosmer is not very good. Well, we saw Max Brosmer once against the Seahawks. You know, I mean, is there a worse defense to throw a rookie quarterback out in?
Bro, he was really bad.
The
dude, he was
Lions the last 4 weeks have allowed
horrifically.
450 yards of offense on average. That Lions defense. So this is an a stoppable object versus a movable forward. force, whatever the hell it is. Sorry, movable objects versus stoppable force. So we'll really see what happens here. You would think the Lions should take the edge, but honestly, let's see Max Bosmer play football. The one last Vegas thing I'll say, sorry, so harp on it is the most popular bet that every single one of your granddads or whatever the hell on Christmas are going to be cooking tomorrow is take all the favorites. Take the Lions, take the Broncos, take the Cowboys. Money lines, they're minus 131. It'll be free. They'll also say tease the Cowboys to -1 and the Lions to -1. Man, it's Christmas and the whole world's going to be betting football. Something, one of these dogs might be barking and don't be shocked now. That's all I'll say.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
tell you it's not the Chiefs because God that whoever the
Oh,
fuck
It
the
would be
Chiefs is a dick.
but it would be the Vikings
it
because
would lucky be Max Brosnan with the
no, no,
Vikings.
let me tell you why. It's because Brian Flores, he does very well against Jared Goff.
Yeah.
Like Jared Goff
Also,
is a statue, and Brian
was a
Flores rushes 6, 7, 8 players, every other down. So
dude, you
that's
really
gonna be.
want that, didn't you, man? You
Yeah,
fuck.
dude, it's almost 2026, dude. Did
I
you
said,
not hear about this?
what did I say? 6, 7.
Dude,
He
why?
does rush 6, 7, 8. I said 8 as well, but he does rush 6 or 7 dudes.
Okay,
What am I
dude.
supposed to say? Should I say like
Six to eight.
six
Six
and
to eight dudes.
seven?
6 to 8
You
dudes.
could have
Eight
just said
dudes. Okay.
he rushes, like he rushes a lot.
7 to 8, one
But I
less than
want to be
seven.
specific because people say when they're rushing a lot, it could be five, right? Rushing five is a lot of play.
Okay, you could have said he drops back
You're a
five. You
fucking
feel me?
cornball, Rishi, and this is why you're gonna lose this week.
Dude, it's like he didn't see the.
Oh my, I'm not okay. Whatever. All right. But yeah, I would go if I had to pick a dog to win, it would be the Vikings. Obviously, I just don't think the Commanders with a third string quarterback. I don't, bro. The Cowboys are terrible. They're a terrible football team. Like I was watching that game against the Chargers, and even they're all like everyone talks about their defense being really bad and their offense being really good, but bro, that offense didn't do anything in the second half. They didn't score 1 point. Like that's not good. Like you can't be the self-proclaimed best offense. All these players. Pickens, Lamb, Dak, and you don't score a point in the second half at home, and the game was close. So yeah,
Dude, they lost me so much money.
yeah. Okay. All right, guys. I think that's all the time we have for, championship week, big week, me versus Ankit. Who would have thought? But yeah, next week you guys are gonna find out who the winner is, who has that trophy in their room, who has that trophy to really, show the pod. So yeah. And also we're gonna release interviews, post-game interviews for both me and Ankit after. We're gonna do it Monday night. I'll probably release it the same night as well. So yeah, so stay tuned. Big week coming. So yeah, I'll see y'all next week.